The rule was written in thick black ink, right above the door. Do not open the trapdoor, not please don't, not danger, just that. Simple, direct, like whoever wrote it knew you wouldn't listen. We laughed at it. Of course we did. 5 of us, standing in the middle of a rotting wooden cabin deep in the woods, miles away from the nearest town, holding cheap beer and making jokes like we always do, because rules like that, they only exist for one reason: to be broken. Seriously, Mark said, pointing at the words. That's the best horror movie cliché they could come up with. Jess rolled her eyes. It's probably just a storage space, or a wine cellar, Tyler added. If we're lucky. I didn't say anything, I don't know why, but something about the way the words were written bothered me. They weren't neat, they weren't carved, they were painted, like someone was in a hurry, or panicking. Hey, Emily called out from the window. No signal. At all. Good. Mark grinned. That's the point of a getaway. No signal, no neighbors, no lights for miles, just us, and that rule. We should have left right then, but we didn't. The cabin itself looked older than anything I'd ever seen. The wood was warped, like it had been soaked and dried 1,000 times. The air smelled damp, not just like old wood, but something deeper, something rotten, something that didn't belong. Guys, I said quietly. Do you smell that? Tyler sniffed. Yeah, basement smell. Basement. That word again. We all looked down at the trapdoor. It sat in the center of the living room floor. 2 heavy wooden panels, reinforced with rusted iron hinges. There was no lock, just a thick metal ring. Used to pull it open. Jess nudged it lightly with her foot. It didn't move. Probably stuck, she said. Or swollen from moisture, Mark added. Emily laughed nervously. Or maybe, it's sealed for a reason. Silence. For just a second, too long to be a joke. Then Mark clapped his hands. Alright, enough horror movie nonsense. Who's hungry? And just like that, we moved on. Or at least, we pretended to. Night fell faster than it should have. One moment the forest outside was glowing orange with sunset, and the next, pitch black. No twilight, no warning, just darkness. We lit candles. The cabin didn't have electricity, which we thought was rustic when we booked it. Now, it felt like a mistake. Okay, this is actually creepy now, Emily whispered. Relax, Tyler said. We're fine, but he kept glancing at the floor, at the trapdoor. That's when we heard it. A sound, soft, faint, from below us. Knock. We all froze. No one moved. No one breathed. Did you hear that? Jess whispered. Probably the wood settling, Mark said quickly. Too quickly, knock this time. Louder, clearer, deliberate. And it came from the trapdoor. Emily backed away immediately. No, I don't like that, okay? Not funny anymore, Tyler muttered. Mark forced a laugh. Alright, which one of you is messing with us? No one answered, because we were all in the same room. All of us. Then came the third knock. Bang, the trapdoor shook. Just slightly, but enough. Enough to make my stomach drop. Okay, Jess said slowly. There's definitely something down there. Silence filled the cabin again. Heavy, thick, like the air itself didn't want to move. Maybe it's an animal, Tyler said. In a locked basement. Emily snapped. It's not locked, Mark said, and before anyone could stop him, he stepped forward. Mark, don't too late. His hand wrapped around the metal ring. And that's when we all saw it. Something we hadn't noticed before. There were scratches around the edges of the trapdoor, deep, jagged, like something had been trying to get out. Dude, I whispered. Maybe we should just bang. The trapdoor jolted again, harder this time. Mark jumped back. Okay, yeah, that's not normal then. A voice from below. Hello. Every drop of blood in my body turned to ice. It was a man's voice, weak, shaky, but clear. Help me. Emily started crying immediately. Jess grabbed her arm. Oh my God, there's someone down there. No, I said, and I don't know why I said it, but something felt wrong, very wrong. That's not possible, I continued. We just got here. There's no way. Please. The voice screamed, let me out. The trapdoor shook violently, over and over, like something was throwing its entire weight against it. Mark looked at us, pale, terrified. We can't just leave him, and that's the moment everything changed, because deep down, every single one of us knew something we didn't want to say out loud. If there really was someone down there, then who wrote the rule, and why? Did they want it to stay closed? Mark slowly reached for the ring again, hands trembling, breathing heavy. On 3, he said. Mark, don't, I whispered. He ignored me. 1. The voice below stopped screaming. 2. Silence, complete, absolute. 3. And just as he started to pull, a different voice came from below. Not weak, not scared.com, cold, and right behind the door. You shouldn't have listened to him. Blackness swallowed the room, and the trapdoor moved. The trapdoor didn't just shake this time, it lifted just a fraction, barely an inch, but enough for something inside to push back. Mark stumbled backward, nearly falling. Nope, we're not opening that, he said, voice cracking. No one argued. Not anymore, because whatever was down there was no longer pretending. Did you hear that? Emily whispered. Her hands were shaking uncontrollably. There were two voices, she was right. We all heard it. The first one begged, the second one warned us, and the worst part, they sounded the same. Jess slowly backed away from the trapdoor. Okay, we need to leave. Now, finally, someone said it. Yes, I said immediately. We get in the car, we drive back, we forget this place ever existed. Tyler was already grabbing his keys. I'm not staying another minute. Mark didn't move. He was staring at the trapdoor like it was calling him. Mark, I snapped. We're leaving. He blinked, like he had just woken up. Yeah, right. We didn't pack. We didn't turn off the candles. We didn't even look back. We just ran. The forest outside was wrong. That's the first thing I noticed. Not dark, not quiet, wrong. The trees looked taller, closer together, like they had moved while we were inside. Was the car this far? Emily asked, panic rising. No, Tyler said immediately. It was right there. He pointed ahead, but there was nothing, just more trees. Dude, don't mess with me right now, Jess said. I'm not, Tyler snapped. This is where we parked. Silence, then knock. We all froze. It didn't come from the cabin, it came from behind us. Slowly we turned. The cabin door was open. We were sure we closed it. Inside, the candlelight flickered, casting long twisted shadows across the floor. And then we saw it. The trapdoor was wide open. Darkness spilled out of it like smoke. Thick, heavy, alive. Run, I whispered. We ran. Branches tore at our clothes. The ground felt uneven, like it was shifting under our feet. Every direction looked the same. Every path led nowhere. Stop, Mark shouted suddenly. We all skidded to a halt. Listen at first. Nothing, then footsteps. Behind us, slow, dragging, not one set. Many. Don't look, I said immediately. Just keep moving. But Emily did, and she screamed. I turned before I could stop myself. Something was walking out of the trees. No, not walking, crawling. Its body bent in ways that didn't make sense. Limbs too long, joints reversed. Skin stretched tight over something that wasn't human anymore. And its face, it was him. Mark, but wrong, twisted. Smiling too wide, eyes too deep. Why are you running? It said. In Mark's voice, we all turned to look at the real Mark. He was still there, right next to us, breathing heavily, terrified. What the hell is that? Tyler whispered. The thing tilted its head, bones cracking as it moved. You heard the rule, it said softly. Why didn't you listen? More shapes appeared behind it. More faces, different, familiar, all wrong, I think. Jess whispered, barely able to speak. I think those are people who didn't leave. People who opened the trapdoor. People who broke the rule. Run, Tyler shouted. We didn't hesitate this time. We ran faster than before. No direction, no plan, just away. But the forest wouldn't let us go. Every path looped. Every turn led back to the same trees. The same broken branches. The same carved mark on a trunk, a mark we didn't make. We're going in circles, Emily cried. No, I said slowly. Heart pounding, mind racing. It's not us. They're moving the forest. Silence, because deep down, we all knew it was true. Another sound, closer this time, right behind us. Stop running. The voice again. Cold, right next to my ear. I spun around. Nothing, but I could feel it. Breathing, watching, waiting. Why are you trying to leave? It whispered. You opened it. We didn't. Mark shouted. We didn't open anything. A pause. Then laughter, low, distorted. Yes, you did. And suddenly we were back. Standing in front of the cabin, exactly where we started. The door, wide open. The trapdoor waiting. No, Emily whispered. No, this isn't real. It is, Jess said quietly. Too quietly, because she was staring at something inside. I followed her gaze, and my blood ran cold. There were footprints, fresh, leading from the trapdoor to the door and outside, and into the forest. Not just one set. 5. Exactly 5. Our footprints, already there, before we ever ran, before we ever left. Guys, Tyler whispered, if those are ours, then who's still inside? Emily finished. Slowly, very slowly. We all turned back toward the cabin. The candlelight flickered again, and for a split second, we saw silhouettes inside. 5 figures standing still, watching us, waiting, and one of them stepped forward. It pressed its hand against the inside of the door, matching Mark's height, Mark's shape, Mark's face. Smiling, you should have stayed inside, it said. Mark dropped his keys, and behind us, The forest went silent, completely silent, like everything was about to begin. No one moved, no one breathed. 5 of us standing outside the cabin and 5 more standing inside. This isn't real, Emily whispered, but her voice broke halfway through. Because it was real. The version of Mark inside the cabin tilted its head, still smiling, still watching us. Then it spoke again. Come inside. Same voice, same tone, but empty. Like something was wearing him. No, I said immediately. Too fast, too loud. All of them turned to look at me. Not just the thing inside. All 5 silhouettes at the same time. That's when I realized something. They weren't just copies, they were connected. You already opened it, the Mark inside said softly. You already let us out. We didn't, Tyler shouted. Silence. Then all 5 inside smiled wider and spoke together. Yes, you did. A cold wave ran through my body. Think, one of them said. Think carefully. Jess grabbed my arm. Don't listen to them. But it was too late, because something clicked. A memory. Small, insignificant. Jess, nudging the trapdoor earlier. It didn't move. Or, did it? No, I whispered. I stepped back, heart racing. Jess, I said slowly. When you kicked it earlier. She froze. Did it move? Her face went pale. I thought it didn't. Thought Tyler snapped. What do you mean, thought? She stuttered. It felt stuck, but, I don't know. Maybe it shifted a little. That was enough. The thing inside said. All 5 stepped forward, in perfect sync. The rule wasn't about opening it completely, just breaking the seal. And you did. Emily collapsed to her knees. No, 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 no. So what? Mark shouted. What does that even mean? The version of him inside stepped closer to the door, and for the first time, its smile faded. We don't replace you, it said. We become you. Silence. Then a scream. Tyler. We all turned. He was staring at his hands. What the hell? His skin, it was moving. Not like shaking, not like trembling. Shifting like something underneath. Was trying to get out. Get IT off, he screamed. He scratched at his arms violently, skin tearing, blood dripping. But underneath there was no muscle, no bone, just darkness. Moving Tyler Stog, Jess cried. But it was too late. His arm twisted. Bone snapped. But he didn't stop screaming because it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt at all. Oh God, Emily sobbed. The thing inside the cabin spoke again. It's starting, you let it in, and now, it needs space. Tyler's body jerked violently. Then he stopped, completely still. Slowly, he lifted his head, and smiled. Not Tyler's smile. The same smile. The one from inside the cabin. It's not that bad, he said calmly. Jess screamed. Mark stepped back. Tyler, I whispered. He looked at me. No, he said gently, and then his face changed. Not transformed, not morphed, shifted, like a reflection in broken glass. For a split second, he looked like me. Then Mark, then Jess, then something else. Something wrong. Run, Mark shouted. But there was nowhere to go. The forest closed in again. The cabin behind us. The things inside. Tyler, or whatever he was, in front of us. We were trapped, completely. Why are you running? Tyler asked calmly. More footsteps echoed behind us. We turned. The copies were gone. The cabin, empty. No, Jess whispered, then hands grabbing her from the side. One of them, it pulled her into the darkness between the trees. Jess, Emily screamed. We ran toward her. Too late, gone. Just silence. Then her voice from everywhere. Don't open it. We froze. Jess, Mark said. Don't open it. She repeated, her voice cracked, distorted, breaking. Then, it's already open. Silence. Then laughter. Not one voice, dozens, hundreds, all around us, inside us. Make it stop. Emily begged. But I couldn't, because I finally understood. This wasn't about the cabin. It wasn't about the trapdoor. It was about us. We didn't find this place. It found us, and now it was finishing what we started. Mark grabbed my shoulder, eyes wide. How do we stop it? I looked at the cabin, at the open trapdoor, at the darkness inside, and I realized something horrifying. We don't silence. Then what do we do? He asked. I swallowed, heart pounding. We close it. Emily shook her head violently. No, after everything, it's the only way, I said. Behind us, Tyler stepped closer, smiling. Too late, he whispered, and from the forest, more of them emerged. More faces, more bodies, more copies, endless, coming closer, coming in. No, Mark whispered. I grabbed a metal ring of the trapdoor, my hands shaking. On 3, are you insane? Emily cried. 1. The ground beneath us trembled. 2. The thing started running. 3. And I pulled. The darkness inside moved, like it was alive. Like it didn't want to be closed. Like it was hungry. And something inside it looked back at me. Something that knew me. Something that was waiting. "You're already inside," it whispered. We thought it was going to be the perfect escape. Just the four of us, me, Liam, Chloe, and Ben. A weekend camping trip deep in the Blackwood Forest. Miles away from city lights, deadlines, and responsibilities. The plan was simple: hike, tell stories around a campfire, and just breathe. The first day was exactly that. The air was crisp, the scenery was breathtaking, and for the first time in months, we all felt genuinely relaxed. The trouble started on the second day. We decided to go off-trail, exploring a path that wasn't on any of our maps. Ben, ever the adventurer, insisted it would lead to a hidden waterfall. For a few hours, it was thrilling. The forest grew thicker, older, the sunlight struggling to pierce the dense canopy above. Then, the path just disappeared. We were lost. Panic started to creep in as the afternoon sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and blood red. That's when Chloe spotted it. Tucked away in a small, unnaturally clear patch of woods was a cabin. It was old, made of dark weathered logs, with a sagging porch and windows like vacant eyes. It looked like it had been forgotten by time itself. Relief washed over us. A shelter for the night. We could figure out our location in the morning. Looking back now, that relief was the most foolish emotion I've ever felt. The door was unlocked. A thick layer of dust covered everything inside a single room with a rickety table, a few chairs, a stone fireplace, and a small, grimy bed in the corner. It felt wrong, not just old, but heavy. The air was stagnant, carrying a faint sweet smell, like dried flowers and decay. Liam, always the practical one, started looking for firewood outside. Ben was trying to get a signal on his phone, laughing nervously. Chloe and I started exploring the cabin's single room. On the dusty mantelpiece above the fireplace, there was a strange collection of objects. Bundles of dried herbs, small animal bones tied with twine, and a single leather-bound book. It had no title, just a strange symbol etched into the cover, like a spiral with jagged thorns. Of course, Ben couldn't resist. He picked it up, blowing a cloud of dust off the cover. The leather was cold, almost damp to the touch. "Who leaves a book like this in the middle of nowhere?" he asked, his voice echoing a little too loudly in the quiet cabin. He opened it. The pages were brittle, filled with spidery, handwritten script in a language none of us recognized. But it wasn't just text. There were disturbing illustrations, twisted figures with too many limbs, arcane symbols, and a recurring image of a tall, shadowy entity with long, spindly fingers. As Ben flipped through the pages, a low hum started to fill the room. It was so faint at first, we thought it was just the wind. But it grew steadily, a deep resonant vibration that we could feel in our chests. The candles we'd lit on the table flickered wildly, casting, dancing, distorted shadows on the walls. Chloe grabbed my arm, her eyes wide with fear. "Ben, close it," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Close the book." But he was transfixed, his eyes glued to a specific page. It showed the symbol from the cover, but this one was drawn in what looked like faded, brown ink. Below it was a single word, written in English, a name, and as Ben whispered that name aloud, just to see how it sounded, the hum stopped. The candles went out, plunging us into absolute darkness. For a moment, there was only the sound of our own ragged breathing, then, a scratch. It came from outside. A long, slow scratch, like nails being dragged down the wooden walls of the cabin. Liam, who had just returned with an armful of wood, dropped it with a crash. "Did you guys hear that?" he stammered, his flashlight beam cutting a frantic path through the darkness. Another scratch, this time on the door, louder, more insistent. Ben finally snapped out of his trance and slammed the book shut, but it was too late. Whatever we had invited, whatever name he had spoken, was here. A low, guttural growl rumbled from the other side of the door. It wasn't an animal. It sounded wrong, unnatural. We scrambled to barricade the door, piling the rickety table and chairs against it. We were trapped. The scratching stopped, replaced by a soft, rhythmic tapping on the window panes. Tap, tap, tap. I peered through a crack in the dusty glass, my heart hammering against my ribs. I couldn't see anything clearly in the moonless night, just the shifting shapes of the trees. But then, for a split second, I saw it, a tall, slender silhouette standing just at the edge of the woods. It was perfectly still, but I could feel it watching us. I could almost see the long, spindly fingers. The tapping stopped. A new sound began. A voice. It was a soft, gentle whisper that seemed to come from all around us at once, slithering into our minds. It knew our names. It whispered to Chloe about her deepest fears. It taunted Liam about his past failures. It promised Ben the knowledge he craved, the secrets held within the book he still clutched in his hands. It was tearing us apart from the inside, feeding on our panic. We spent the night huddled in the far corner of the cabin, listening to the whispers and the periodic, terrifying sounds from outside. A thump on the roof, a rattling of the doorknob, the sound of something heavy being dragged through the dirt. Sleep was impossible. Every shadow seemed to move. Every creak of the old cabin made us jump. We were prisoners in this forgotten place, haunted by something we had foolishly awakened. When the first light of dawn finally broke through the grime on the windows, the sound stopped. The oppressive presence receded, like a predator retreating with the morning sun. There was a fragile, exhausted silence. We waited, barely daring to breathe, until the sun was fully up. Slowly, cautiously, we removed the barricade and opened the door. The clearing was empty. There were no tracks, no sign of anything having been there at all. It was as if the entire night had been a collective nightmare, but we knew it wasn't. The fear was real, the whispers were real, and the book was gone. Ben swore he had been holding it all night, but it had vanished from his grasp without a sound. We didn't wait to discuss it. We just ran. We ran without looking back, fueled by pure adrenaline, crashing through the undergrowth with no sense of direction. By some miracle, we stumbled back onto the main trail a few hours later. We didn't stop until we reached our car. The drive back was silent, the four of us lost in our own traumatic memories. We never talked about what happened in that cabin. It was an unspoken pact. We tried to go back to our normal lives, but something was broken. We don't see each other much anymore. The bond we shared was severed that night. Sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone, I think I can hear a faint whisper on the edge of my hearing. And I know, deep down, that we didn't escape. We just got a head start. And that something we unleashed is still out there, in the dark woods, waiting. It knows our names, and it is patient. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever had a creepy experience in the woods, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more strange tales. Stay safe out there.